What a moment. What an honor for Jackson Wilson and the Charlotte Hornets in their triumphant return to Spectrum Center after a job well done on the road in the first two games of the NBA playoffs. The Hornets with the two-game sweep in Indianapolis, and they are looking to push the Indiana Pacers to the brink as the NBA playoffs continue here in the NBA 2K26 MyCareer, starring Action Jackson Wilson. The Hornet, Hugo, getting his moves on, getting his swag on, pumping up this sellout crowd as your Hornets look to make it 3 in a row against the Indiana Pacers. Buzz City is electric, buzzing, as Pascal Siakam and the Indiana Pacers look to return the favor after the Charlotte Hornets spoiled both of their home games in Indianapolis. Before we get started today, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Ladder of Light Gaming. I'm your host, Action Jackson Wilson. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. All other ways lead to destruction. So if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ and you want to be spared from an eternity in hell, call out to Him for the forgiveness of your sins. As the Pacers get the first bucket of this Game 3. We're in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals as the ball goes to Jackson Wilson. He will once again have Obi Toppin sticking him. We got a lineup change today for the Charlotte Hornets. Con Knipple will be in the game at small forward as LaMelo Ball gives it to Knipple, who goes to Wilson. Wilson looking to get the crowd on its feet early, and he does! Wilson with the two-handed punch over Obi Toppin. This has become an all too common here in this first round series. Obi Toppin just has not had the overall strength to match Jackson Wilson. The Indiana Pacers have been feeling the heat of losing Miles Turner in the offseason. Speaking of Miles Turner, as Pascal Siakam makes it 4-2 Pacers, the Milwaukee Bucks have a 2-0 lead over the New York Knicks in their first round series. That's the new team that Miles Turner plays for. And the Pacers, meanwhile, are starting out this game with a bang. They got a 6-2 lead over the Charlotte Hornets, and Wilson immediately will take over the point guard position. He's going to go right back to the post. The double team is not coming, so Wilson will get in position. Gets into the post, but no good. Obi Toppin is able to stop Wilson that time. Back come the Pacers. Here is Shepard as the crowd chants defense here in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's a steal by Miles Bridges. On the fast break, it's Wilson. Ball, get out of my way. Wilson calls for a pick and fade with Con Knipple. Here it comes. Wilson kicks it out. Knipple with the three straight away. No good. Offensive rebound by Wilson. He kicks it to Sexton in the corner, and now he cuts for the dunk. Wilson remaining active, whether it's passing, getting the rebounds, or scoring the basketball. He's got the first 4 points on the board for the Hornets, who trail 6-4. Pascal Siakam, who is showing improvements from the injury he's been battling. He can't get that shot to go, so Wilson will secure the board. He gives it to LaMelo Ball. Nice pass to Bridges for the tie. Miles Bridges evens the score at 6. We're just getting rolling. Glad you're with us here on Ladder of Light Gaming. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals between the Indiana Pacers and the Charlotte Hornets. Aggressive take by Obi Toppin, and he's able to finish over Wilson for 2. 8-6 Pacers as LaMelo Ball brings it up the floor for the Hornets. Here's Wilson on a screen. Outside, hand down. Wilson hits the 3. Gets the crowd on its feet yet again. Like I said at the start, Buzz City is buzzing for the NBA playoffs. Not only that, their Charlotte Hornets are thriving when many thought they would be battling just to be surviving. Here's a straightaway 3 by Halliburton, no good. Wilson now with 3 rebounds. The Hornets are ahead, and Wilson's looking to add on. No double team. This is a mismatch. Wilson gets the dunk over Tyrese Halliburton. The Pacers actually sent a double team at the last moment with Pascal Siakam, but he was a little bit too late. Speaking of Siakam, he's got the ball and he kicks it out to Toppin, but Wilson is all over that. He remembers the game-tying 3 that Toppin hit over him at that same play in Indiana late in Game 2. Here's Siakam with the ball in his hands again. Toppin right there is Wilson. No good. Bridges with the rebound. Up ahead, Knippel. Knippel to Bridges. Wilson goes back to work against Obi Toppin. Gets into the post. Drop step. Hammers it over him. This is just too easy for Jackson Wilson. And by the way, we're playing on Hall of Fame. And I will prove it to you guys after this game. Here is Halliburton. 13-8, Charlotte on top of Indiana after the Pacers got off to a 6-2 start. That's a 7-2 run in progress. Siakam with a tough three-pointer. He's able to get it to go. Pascal Siakam from downtown brings the Pacers back within 2. It's 13-11. Look at this crowd here in Charlotte, anticipating the franchise's first playoff series win. Here's a triple for the 6'8 point guard LaMelo Ball. That's another advantage that the Hornets have had in this series over the Pacers, and that's size to go along with their strength. They may be young, but they are scrappy, and they're looking to advance to the second round without having to go back to Indianapolis. They got their foot on the Pacers right now, and they want to keep it that way. You can't let the defending Eastern Conference champions get a leg up, because they can get back in this series faster than you can say, wow. And speaking of wow, Wilson continues to wow this crowd with 13 of the 18 points here in the first quarter for the Charlotte Hornets, who are grasping Game 3 by the throat. They lead 18-11 with 4 minutes and 24 seconds to go as Shepherd battles inside, forces up a layup, he can't get it to go. The Pacers becoming discombobulated as Colin Sexton drives inside, and he'll leave it for Wilson. Wilson backing down Toppin from the middle lane. Wilson again. This time he converts the layup. I know this may be getting boring. It's the same exact play, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would you? Until they stop it, we're going to keep attacking the well. Wilson with the steal. Wilson back into the post. Now the double teams start coming. This is going to open the floor up for Wilson's teammates. Now they don't send the double team. Wilson abusing Toppin again. Somebody sit Toppin on the bench and get Huff in there, because he has actually been able to contain Wilson in the paint. I don't know what Rick Carlisle is thinking, playing Toppin at center night after night, but it is destroying this Pacers team. Again, I don't know what they were thinking trading Miles Turner in the offseason, but they are feeling the heat of it right now, as their Eastern Conference title defense could be short-lived if an adjustment is not made. Wilson again will go to the post. No double team. Backs down Toppin, spinning, layup, got it! Wilson, 9 out of his first 10, and the crowd erupts as the Pacers call the first time out of the game. We also got a watch party outside of the arena going wild for the most valuable player who received his hardware prior to tip-off. 13-point Hornets lead, 24-11. And the Pacers were off to a 6-2 start. This is what Wilson has been doing all season long, along with the help of his teammates. Getting the ball in his hands and completely snatching momentum out of the hands of his opponents. Look at the foam fingers. Look at the rally towels. Look at this sea of aqua blue here in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know how Spectrum is a Wi-Fi provider? That same connection is being shown by the Charlotte Hornets. It's like they're all connected by their own Wi-Fi. They're in sync, and they're a well-oiled machine. And now here is Huff checking into the game for the Pacers. Rick Carlisle has seen enough from his starters. Everybody takes a seat on the bench. Nesmith with a nice drive past Wilson. Pacers definitely have a lot of speed. Sometimes they've been able to get past Wilson with that. But that hasn't affected the Hornets, especially considering that their size and their strength has overall won the day. Here's a screen by Wilson. He pops out. He'll take the mid-range over Huff and hit. Wilson sees the defensive switch, so he tells Rick Carlisle, no problem. Instead of going to the paint, I'll show off my jump shot. 21 points on 10 for 11 shooting out of the gate. And now we got an illegal screen on Aaron Nesmith. The wheels are coming off quickly for the Indiana Pacers. And this is something you would come to expect from a team that just gave away both games at home. coming on the road against this Charlotte Hornets team that is playing with nothing to lose. Wilson's being called a fraud. Everybody was picking them to go one and done because of their inexperience. But it has actually turned out to be a weapon. Here's a nice deflection by Huff, but Green is able to get the ball back. Man outside for Wilson. Wilson swings it to Green. Green takes a three at the shot clock, no good, and the rebound by the Pacers. Wilson was there for the rebound. He had Huff boxed out, but the ball unfortunately went to the left block instead of the middle. Neesmith into McConnell. McConnell to Huff. Huff from the Hornets logo puts up a floater and connects over Wilson. First basket of the game for Huff, who has put together some nice minutes off the bench for Rick Carlisle. As Jackson Wilson will run some isolation and get a pick and roll going with Green. Green with the nice roll. Huff is slow of foot. He leaves the paint wide open, and Wilson is able to hit Green, another rookie, for 2 points. A lot of young stars on this team rising to the occasion. Jackson Wilson, Con Knipple, LaMelo Ball, Green, and even Colin Sexton. Even though he's a veteran, he's still in his younger years. That's who the Hornets picked up from the Cleveland Cavaliers for veteran presence. And it turned out that was very crucial because another young star, Brandon Miller, injured his ankle prior to the postseason. If the Hornets advance, he should be back for the next round. But he had to miss 2 to 4 weeks down the stretch. So it had to be next man up for the Hornets. Great defense by Neesmith as Wilson finally misses. That's just his second missed shot in his first 12 field goal attempts. McConnell off a screen. McConnell dribbling with his left hand, now switches to the right. Gives it to Furphy for three. It's no good. The sharpshooter out of Kansas comes up short, and now Jackson Wilson will have the ball back in his hands. He's got Huff on him, so he'll call a floppy for Pat Connaughton. 5 to shoot. Connaughton in the corner, left alone. He can't hit the three at the buzzer. What a first quarter for the Charlotte Hornets. Looking to make their hometown fans proud. And not only that, but put themselves in the driver's seat for a potential sweep tomorrow night. After taking both games in Indianapolis, an MVP presentation in front of his hometown crowd for Jackson Wilson, and one of his best quarters of the series thus far. 10 of 12 shooting, 21 points. He is setting the tone for the Hornets, and they will keep him in the game at the start of the second. And here he comes, running the point guard position. Let's call the floppy again for Pat Connaughton because it didn't work last time. We need you to come off the screen. Okay, that didn't work, so Wilson will set up over Huff. 7 seconds to shoot. Can Wilson win the strength battle anyway? You bet he can! Whether it's Toppin, Siakam, or Huff, Wilson not afraid to get his hands dirty in the paint. He's an all-around center, but he is looking like Dwight Howard right now. 23 points for Wilson, and we've just begun the second quarter here in Game 3 as Neesmith drives inside. Green playing the best defense he possibly can. Neesmith can't get it to go off the glass. Wilson with the rebound. He gives it to Green. Oh, wow, we got McConnell on Wilson. Set up quick isolation. Now the double team comes. Man to Connaughton for three. The floor is opened up, but Wilson's teammates can't capitalize. Connaughton 0 for his first 2 from downtown. Here's Jones with a shot. No good from the right block. Wilson with the rebound. He'll give it to Connaughton. Connaughton back to Wilson. Here's another mismatch. Wilson will go to the post. Double team is not coming. Wilson spinning, dunking it home. 32 points for Jackson Wilson and the Charlotte Hornets here in the early going of Game 3. Wilson's got 25 of them on 86% shooting. Here is Siakam into a cutting Huff. Good defense by Wilson, but Huff is able to score despite Wilson standing there with his hands up. Like I said, Huff has really done a nice job for the Pacers off the bench, but it's going to take a lot more than just him if the Pacers are going to come back and win this series. Their starters actually had to be benched after the opening minutes because Rick Carlisle was so disgusted by their overall play. Wilson gets Huff in the air. He'll crash the board for Pat Connaughton, who calls isolation. Connaughton for three, no good. But Wilson on the offensive rebound leaves it out to Trey Mann, and the Hornets will reset. Here's a double screen for Trey Mann. Mann isolating, kicks to Wilson. Wilson with the mid-range over Huff. He drills it from the free throw line. It's good to be home for Jackson Wilson. This has definitely been one of his more efficient games thus far, and the Pacers have to call another timeout. We still have 7 minutes and 33 seconds remaining here in the first half, but Wilson already has a stat line that the vast majority of players in the NBA would kill the half for 4 quarters. Look at the Spectrum Center, ladies and gentlemen. The glow-in-the-dark bracelets, everybody wearing blue shirts, waving rally towels, waving foam fingers. This crowd and this community of Charlotte, North Carolina, and all the other surrounding areas have been waiting for this kind of basketball for a long time. And it looks like they finally have it, as the Charlotte Hornets are not only bringing playoff basketball back to the Emerald City, but they are trying to give this franchise its first playoff series win since it became the Charlotte Bobcats, the Charlotte Hornets. And if you guys are new, the owner, Michael Jordan, who set the all-time record with 63 points in a playoff game back in 1986, now has company. And it's his franchise cornerstone, Jackson Wilson, who put up 63 in Game 2 to lead the Hornets to a victory against the Pacers in hostile territory. He ended up with 63 points on 23 made baskets and 12 free throws. McConnell kicks it out to Pat Furphy, who's left alone for 3, and he gets it to go. The Pacers need a lot more of that, as their season is on the line. They're down 2-0. They're on the road, trailing by 14. I think we can say it's officially desperation time for Rick Carlisle's Pacers, who are looking to defend their Eastern Conference crown. However, it's not going so well at the moment. Williams to Wilson. Wilson gets by, but he gets... Never mind. I thought I got that shot blocked. But hey, if you don't block it, it's more than likely going in. Wilson converts the layup over Huff. He's exploiting both matchups that Rick Carlisle has thrown at him here in this Game 3. Furphy tries another 3, and this time he misses it. Wilson on the fast break hits Green. Green drives inside. Nearly threw it away, but McNeely is on it. The hand down for Huff. Wilson for 3 in the corner. No good. Wilson now 1 for 2 from downtown, and back come the Pacers with Pascal Siakam. Huff goes to the paint, but Wilson's right there on him. Here is T.J. McConnell. McConnell. Pacers try another 3, and they connect again from the right wing. Or the right hash, whatever you want to call it. 36-23. It's all Charlotte Hornets once again here in game number 3. As Wilson calls for a pick and fade with McNeely. Gets the defensive switch that he wants. Now with Furphy on him, Wilson will go to the post. No double team. Wilson draws the foul. Spinning inside against Furphy, the young man out of the University of Kansas. Wilson is also a young man. He recently just turned 20 years old. But he's playing like he's a 30-year-old veteran. Wilson's IQ, with the help of his teammates, and most importantly, the leadership of his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, he's doing big things. Teamwork makes the dream work, and Wilson already has 30 points on the board here in the opening quarter. And just so you guys are aware, we are on Hall of Fame. I will prove it if you're willing to stick with me throughout the remainder of this game. Shout out to everybody who does. We give you guys content raw and unedited, so you guys can be a part of the entire journey no matter how it ends. For Jackson Wilson, not just on NBA 2K26, but other sporting games and many others as well, including Dispatch, which we have going right now. Expect an episode almost every single night this week. I'm starting my new job on Saturday, so expect 2K streams every morning, and in the evening we'll either have our next group gameplay or more Dispatch starring yours truly, Jackson Wilson. Lots to look forward to here on Ladder of Light Gaming. Wilson inside. And speaking of a lot to look forward to, we may have a second round series to look forward to. Wilson and the Hornets can already sense a 3-0 series lead with a 17-point lead over the Indiana Pacers. Wilson with 33 points tonight. Tyrese Halliburton, who just checked back in, trying to get the Pacers back in this game. But it's going to take a lot, like we've said multiple times. This Hornets team is on fire right now. Bad pass by McNeely. He was looking for LaMelo Ball on a backdoor cut. Now Siakam goes behind his back. Wilson does a nice job to cut off the drive. Siakam picks up his dribble. Wilson deflects it and steals it. That's the second takeaway for Jackson Wilson here tonight. He cuts, gets into the post on Siakam. He'll go to the fade. Green! Jackson Wilson scoring in the paint from mid-range, and he's also got a three-pointer. 35 points here in the opening quarter in his home playoff debut. These people are loving it here in Charlotte, North Carolina, as Tyrese Halliburton isolates Trey Mann. Mann with great defense. Halliburton kicks it out to McConnell. McConnell's three is no good. Rebound by Wilson, and he'll give it to Trey Mann. Another mismatch. The Pacers continuing to put guards on Jackson Wilson. Now the double teams come. Wilson a man into the corner. Green misses it. Offensive rebound by Wilson. Back to Green, and the Hornets will reset. Here is Wilson with 8 on the shot clock, and he gives it to Ball. Here is a pick. Ball steps back. Three-pointer no good. Wilson and the foul! The Indiana Pacers, nobody boxing out. Nobody can get rebounds. It's always in the hand of Wilson or somebody else. You could just sense Rick Carlisle's frustration. The Indiana Pacers that captured the hearts of the NBA last year are looking completely lackadaisical. It's the complete opposite of how they looked last year in their run to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Jackson Wilson in this first half doing whatever he wants to this Pacers team. 38 points, 14 rebounds, and the Hornets dominating here at home. Spectrum Center, Charlotte, North Carolina. And now Obi Toppin shoves Jackson Wilson. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is an NBA team that has been completely taken out of its element. And it looks like they may be throwing in the white towel. But we'll see what happens the rest of this game and in Game 4, because it ain't over until it's over. However, it looks like we may be well headed to a sweep. The way Wilson is playing and the way the Charlotte defense is looking as well. Bridges pops out for three. No good. Wilson, too easy. Offensive rebound. When you have Obi Toppin down there, what do you expect? Toppin is not a center, and that is on the Pacers for not getting themselves a consistent big man for their title defense. They sent Miles Turner to the Milwaukee Bucks, and I got to tell you right now, we could be facing the Bucks if we get to the second round. They may be an 8 seed, but don't let that fool you, because they've got Giannis and Miles Turner down low. Wilson's going to have his hands full. You're not going to see numbers like this against the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's definitely not going to be like the Pacers if we get that far. But hey, the matchups, if we got mismatches, we are going to exploit them. Like I've said so many times throughout the season, as LaMelo Ball, the taller point guard in comparison to Tyrese Halliburton, he knocks down a three. It is now 50-26. Charlotte Hornets on Hall of Fame. Yes, we are playing on Hall of Fame difficulty and looking for our third consecutive playoff win here in the first round against the Indiana Pacers. 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining here in the first half. The Charlotte Hornet fans dancing, and they can sense a 3-0 series lead over the Indiana Pacers. Their nerves is too good right now. It's been a long time coming for this organization and for these great Carolina fans. Whether it's north, south, or even in the western states of West Virginia, Tennessee, and beyond, the Charlotte Hornets have a great fan base. You could say the same for their professional hockey team, which plays in Raleigh, the Carolina Hurricanes, and also the Carolina Panthers, who have the hashtag Keep Pounding. The Charlotte Hornets definitely have that mindset. As a matter of fact, the Carolina Panthers put that on their Twitter out of support to the Charlotte Hornets. Keep pounding. It's you guys' time. Go get it. This kind of makes you think of the Carolina Panthers Super Bowl run when the entire community embraced them the whole way through, and they put together a run that the fan base always remembered, even though they fell short to the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. It's hard to believe that was already 10 years ago. But ain't that crazy? Exactly a decade later, just like Cam Newton did for the Carolina Panthers, Jackson Wilson with Carolina's basketball team, the Charlotte Hornets, He's having that same impact. As we head to halftime, it is 58-30. Charlotte over the Indiana Pacers. Thanks to Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal for our NBA playoff update, giving us the playoff tree. If you guys didn't see, the Milwaukee Bucks, they're coming home with a 2-0 series lead on the New York Knicks. Injuries had plagued Milwaukee throughout the entire season, but the Bucks, just like the Hornets, they're getting hot at the right time. And look at Wilson's favorite team, the Detroit Pistons. They're looking for a sweep of their own against the Atlanta Hawks. And even the Cavaliers have got their work cut out for them. After losing Game 1 against the Toronto Raptors, they were able to bounce back, but it's going to be tough going to Toronto against the Raptors, who recently won a championship back in 2019. Look at the Hornets in the first half. 68%, 22-6 advantage on the rebounds, and a 12 mark in the assist column. It's incredible. This jubilant fan base came out to support the Hornets, and their boys have not disappointed. This truly is Buzz City as we welcome you back for the second half. Jackson Wilson feasting and feasting in the paint. And now here are the Hornets as we begin the second half. They won't be in any rush. We're going to take our time every possession. Wilson, slow down the offense. They'll call for a pick and roll or fade with Bridges. Wilson kicks it to Bridges. Bridges steps into a three. Can't knock it down. Rebound by Obi Toppin as the starters are back into the game for the Indiana Pacers. Benedict Mathurin will pull up, miss the mid-range. Rebound by Wilson, who put up 40 points in the first half alone. And now Ball gives it to Wilson. Wilson back the ball, and here's the screen. Ball fakes. Ball to Bridges. Wilson back into the post with 6 on the shot clock. Spinning on Toppin, the layup is no good. Good defense that time by Toppin. That's been rare so far in this series. Wilson's had the last laugh over him more often than not. Benedict Mathurin's able to convert that layup, and the first 2 points of the second half belong to the Indiana Pacers, who have a lot of work to do, trailing 58-32. LaMelo Ball trying to answer, but he can't hit it from 20 feet out. Back come the Pacers again with Mathurin. Wilson switches on to Pascal Siakam, and he'll stay on the right block. Halliburton for 3, no good. Rebound by Wilson, and he'll let Colin Sexton orchestrate the offense. He leaves it for Ball. The lob inside for Bridges, but good defense by Toppin. He's able to snatch that alley-oop. Shepard driving inside, gives it to Siakam for the layup. So the Pacers here in the second half get the first 4 points on the board. Now Wilson will look to stay hot against Obi Toppin. Backing in, getting in position. Layup is good. Wilson scoring from the right and left blocks. Balancing that attack out, whether it's a drop step or a layup. Wilson with great touch and great strength as Toppin looks to get him back. Kicks it out to Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton with the lob to Obi Toppin. Great dunk right there. Now all of a sudden the Pacers are up to 11 assists. The Pacers, who were in the top half of the league in that category, are finally starting to get a consistent passing game started, but it might be a little too late as the Hornets have a 60-36 lead here in Game 3. Wilson getting into position. Bridges draws the foul, and he'll go to the line. There's a look at Rick Carlisle. Disgusted on that sideline. He did not agree with the official. But when you're in the position his team is, how can you blame him? He's looking for anything to get his team back on the right track. Miles Bridges to the line. He's also become a fan favorite here in Charlotte ever since they picked him up. And this fan base also has come to love Brandon Miller. The Hornets are definitely doing this for right now. Brandon Miller has been out for the last couple of weeks with an injured ankle. But we're getting positive feedback from the Hornets medical staff that he should be back for at least a couple games in the next round. It's now guaranteed that he's going to be back for Game 1. But we will have an opportunity to see the return of Brandon Miller if the Charlotte Hornets can finish business here in this opening round against Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton with an ankle breaker and the triple. Wow, what a move by Tyrese Halliburton to reduce the gap to 23 points. Wilson screens for Ball. Ball kicks to Wilson. Wilson with the answer from downtown. Wilson with 45 points as he looks to lead the Hornets to a 3-0 first-round lead over the Indiana Pacers. Nice cut by Tyrese Halliburton, and he'll get 2 more. Here's LaMelo Ball. Wilson will let him run isolation. Here's the pass to Bridges. Bridges with 16 on the shot clock, lobs it inside to Knipple. Knipple to the corner for Bridges. They work it around the perimeter to Sexton. Sexton to Ball. His three-pointer. Kaboom! LaMelo Ball from downtown. It's raining here in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Indiana Pacers have trespassed into the Hornets' nest, and they're getting stung over and over and over. They have no answer for this Charlotte team here tonight. The Hornets showing the Pacers what a home court advantage really is like. And the Hornets, who struggled at home on certain occasions this year, they're definitely getting things cleaned up when the games matter most, as Obi Toppin will cut inside for the slam over Jackson Wilson. Wilson will again go to the right corner and let his team run isolation. Here is Ball to Bridges, who hits Wilson in the corner. Wilson wants a cut for Bridges. He'll give it the Ball instead. 6 seconds for Ball to shoot. Ball driving. Ball shoots. Wilson with the box out. Offensive rebound, and he'll reset to Colin Sexton. Here's Bridges from straight away. He's got a 3. The onslaught continues here in Charlotte. 71-43 Hornets over the Pacers. When a Hornet stings you, it hurts. And it hurts like heck. The Pacers are definitely feeling what that's like right now. Halliburton with 2 on the shot clock. Great defense by the Hornets. Halliburton can't get the bounce. Wilson with the rebound, and he'll leave it for Sexton. Sexton with the drive for the layup. Wilson with the assist. A 30-point lead on Hall of Fame. Is this a fake video? Shout out to Chris Smoove. I will prove to you guys that we're on Hall of Fame at the conclusion of this game. Another miss by Tyrese Halliburton. Ball feeds Bridges. Bridges to Wilson. He'll get the offense set up. He'll swing it to Knipple. Knipple off a Wilson screen, 7 on the shot clock. Knipple, nice pass. Wilson with the dunk. Look at the shooting percentage for Wilson here tonight. 84% on Hall of Fame. And this crowd, the noise level is deafening. 4 minutes to go here in the third as Toppin takes on Wilson, and he gets the layup to fall. Great finish by Obi Toppin, despite Wilson being right there on him. It's 75-45. Wilson wraps it around to Bridges. Here's a screen for Bridges. Bridges looking to hit Wilson, but the defense is right there. The Hornets will reset. Let's call a floppy for LaMelo Ball. Here we go with 5 on the clock. The double screen. Ball pops out. Ball tries the 3. No good. Rebound by Wilson. Tries to hit Bridges, but he throws it away to Pascal Siakam. That's Wilson's first turnover of the night. And Siakam will give it to Halliburton. Halliburton to Toppin. Toppin for 3. He's got it. Obi Toppin from downtown over Jackson Wilson. Hornets looking to push. Toppin playing the best defense he can. Wilson will back out and give it to LaMelo Ball. Ball with the drive. Back to Wilson. Here's Knipple at the top of the key. Knipple with 10 to shoot. Here is Wilson with the screen for Ball in the corner. Wilson with the cut. Knipple bottled up. He's got to force up something. Can't get it to go. Wilson can't get the rebound either. Mathurin gets the board. Wilson jumped a little too early there, as that shot attempt by Halliburton hung on the rim for about 2 extra seconds. Obi Toppin with the drive. Wilson with the foul. Obi Toppin getting some momentum started. Like you said, it might be a little bit too late, as Toppin is able to convert on the first toss. Jackson Wilson will be headed to the bench. Look at that paint attack for the Charlotte Hornets here tonight. 48 of their 75 points have come from down low. And as Wilson takes a breather, the Hornets aren't having any problems preserving this ginormous lead. 81-55 as the fans welcome Wilson back for the fourth quarter. Wilson will run the point guard position, and he'll get another floppy started, this time for Williams. Actually, let's do a simple receive screen. Williams outside. Doesn't want the three, even though he had the open look. Williams with the pump fake. Williams to Wilson. Wilson fakes on Huff. Huff with the block. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to get that one, but it's better to do that than get 3 seconds, I guess. So here are the Pacers with their first possession here in the fourth quarter. Walker to McConnell. McConnell jab steps. McConnell with 5 seconds on the shot clock. McConnell got to force it up from the free throw line, and he gets it to go. Great concentration by T.J. McConnell as the Hornets look to push again. Wilson with the speed, and he gets by Huff for the slam. Give Trey Mann that assist. 49 points for Jackson Wilson here in game number 3 in front of his hometown fans. And most importantly, it's 83-57 Charlotte, and the Hornets are well on their way to a 3-0 series lead despite 8 minutes and 50 seconds still remaining on the clock. Think about how impressive that is for a game to be wrapped up still with a full quarter left to play. Huff hits a three from the corner over Jackson Wilson. 83-60. 8.5 minutes to go, and here's Trey Mann. He'll leave it for Wilson. Wilson, call for a pick and fade with Pat Connaughton. Here he comes. Here's the switch. Connaughton wide open, and he can't answer back. He misses the three from the right hash. Rebound by the Pacers, who trail by 23. They're on their last gasp, not just in tonight's game, but in this series. The double team comes for Huff, who hits Walker for an open three. Walker, however, can't capitalize. Wilson pulls down the board and gives it to Green. He'll give a screen for Green. Here is Williams. He'll hand it off to Wilson. Let's see if that play works for Connaughton again. 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Connaughton would have been open, but that's because Green applied an illegal screen against Walker. We take another look on that block. That's a rare highlight for the Indiana Pacers here in Game 3. Huff able to get that rejection on Jackson Wilson. 83-60 the score, with 7:47 remaining in this Game 3, which has been dominated by the Charlotte Hornets. McConnell gives it to Huff. Huff pass fakes. Half fakes getting into the post, and now he'll give it to Tyrese Halliburton. Into Huff. Huff with a nice layup. Tyrese Halliburton with that assist. Pacers making a little run here in the fourth quarter, as ball goes into a three, but can't stop the bleeding. I think on the next possession, we're just going to slow it down. Here is McConnell. As Huff hangs out behind the three-point line, Wilson is right there on him. McConnell off the screen. McConnell with the drive, kicks it to Neesmith. His three-pointer, that's good. And just for good measure, Wilson's going to call a timeout. What a fourth quarter for the Indiana Pacers. They're finishing strong, but again, it's probably a little too late. 6:56 remaining. It looks like Jackson Wilson is looking to get his teammates involved here in the fourth quarter. Going to have the ball back in his hands for the final 7 minutes. That's how crucial we are to this team. When we're not producing, the other team makes a run. So ball, give it to Wilson. Wilson looking. He'll give it to Williams. Williams, as he stepped out of bounds. 6:57 to go. Pacers will get the ball back. They were once down by 30. Now it's to 18. As Huff gets a screen for Halliburton. Halliburton out to Huff. Wilson rejects him on the three. Says not this time. Wilson with his first rejection of the night. He's now officially done a little of everything. He's also got a couple of steals, 49 points, 22 rebounds, and 3 assists. He's definitely done his part in leading the Charlotte Hornets to a Game 3 win. Now it's a matter of sealing the deal. Nesmith with the tough layup. That goes in. Boy, the Pacers can do no wrong in these last couple of minutes. They've cut this back to a 16-point game. Here is the screen by Wilson. The ball will give it to Wilson. Wilson for 3. He can't stop the bleeding. Rebound by the Pacers. 6 minutes to go. Nesmith kicks to Halliburton. Halliburton guarded by Trey Mann, and he'll leave it for McConnell. Illegal screen on Pascal Siakam. Not the time for that. Every possession counts for the Indiana Pacers, who are looking to pull off a miracle after being down by 13, but they're only halfway there. The Hornets are still in control, leading by 16. Wilson to a cutting LaMelo Ball, looking to exploit his mismatch with McConnell, but he cannot. The struggle for Wilson's teammates continue here in the fourth quarter as Siakam dishes it to McConnell. Halliburton in the corner. Halliburton to Nesmith. Nesmith with the drive. Kicks it to Siakam. Wilson with good D. It doesn't matter. Pascal Siakam is able to convert with the opposite hand. It is now a 14-point Charlotte Hornets lead as LaMelo Ball will give it to Wilson. Wilson loses the handle. That's his second turnover. Pascal Siakam with the steal. McConnell gets rejected by Wilson. Great hustle despite making that mistake for Wilson. Here he is in the post, guarded by Siakam. Wilson spinning, and he dunks it home. Jackson Wilson finally gets the Hornets back on the board. And it's 85-69 after about a 3-minute scoring drought for the Hornets. Siakam misses the contested 3. Wilson is running. McConnell's not going to catch him. Wilson lays it up and in. And those baskets should wrap it up for good. A good run by the Pacers to cut a 30-point lead in half. But it's nowhere enough. As Halliburton with the miss. Wilson with the rebound. He's got McConnell on him, so he'll go right back into the post. Double team comes. Wilson kicks it out to Green. Mismatches all over this court. Wilson with the cut. No chance for McConnell. Wilson all of a sudden with 55 points. He's nearing that record once again that Michael Jordan set in 1986. Wilson could do it 2 games in a row against this ailing Pacers defense. They just haven't had the size and the strength to contain this year's most valuable player and Rookie of the Year. Siakam contested layup, no good. Wilson was right there on him, and he leaves it for Ball. Ball outside, but the pass gets intercepted by Siakam. Wilson was looking for a triple, but a great job by Siakam to jump that passing lane. Halliburton off a screen from Siakam. Siakam pops out, but Wilson is right there. 8 seconds for Siakam to shoot. Siakam crosses over. Siakam out to Toppin. Toppin dribbling, shooting, no good. Wilson the rebound. Up ahead it goes to LaMelo Ball. Ball hesitates. Ball to Wilson in the paint. Wilson spinning on Siakam, no good. Gets his own rebound and flushes that one home. Pascal Siakam and the Pacers have bowed their head in defeat. 91-69 Hornets. Jackson Wilson, after his teammates went into a scoring drought at the start of this fourth quarter, he's able to pick them back up off the mat and prevent the Pacers from making a historic comeback. It was once a 30-point game. The Pacers were able to dribble it down to 14, but Wilson takes over and puts the Hornets back up by 22 with 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go. Wilson with a super efficient performance tonight, 79%, 57 points, 26 boards, and only 2 turnovers. As Siakam gets the offense set up with Shepard. Toppin is now watching Wilson. Shepard crosses over, kicks it out to Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin off a screen from Obi Toppin. Mathurin pulls up for 2. It's no good. Wilson with the rebound. Hornets have got numbers as Wilson hits Williams in the corner. Wilson gets to work on Obi Toppin with 2:22 remaining. Gets in position, fakes, layup, no good. Toppin gets the stop. Here is Benedict Mathurin. Up ahead to Siakam. Siakam out to Toppin. Wilson closes it out. Toppin crossing over. Toppin with the drive. Wilson keeps his hands up. Here's Halliburton. Tough layup, no good. Wilson with the rebound. Up ahead it goes to Bridges. Bridges to a cutting Wilson. Wilson back into the post against Toppin. This time Wilson will go to the drop step and convert the layup. Wilson with 59 points here tonight, and the fans are electric. They want to see Wilson match or break the record by Jordan again. Here is Shepard outside for Halliburton. Halliburton pass fakes. Halliburton drives into Toppin. Toppin can't get it to go over Wilson. Great defense. Wilson to Bridges on the break. Bridges back to Wilson. Wilson gets back to work against Toppin again. Clearly had the advantage, and it continues. Wilson going to the left side this time, and he'll draw the shooting foul on Obi Toppin, and he'll go to the line. And as you would expect, this crowd is letting this year's storybook player hear their appreciation. MVP, MVP. Wilson, for the second consecutive game, has an opportunity to surpass the 60-point barrier. If you're just joining me, welcome to Ladder of Light Gaming. I'm your host, Axon Jackson Wilson. On Hall of Fame difficulty, a 94-69 lead over the Indiana Pacers. Charlotte is about to go up 3-0 in this first round series, and that man, Jackson Wilson, is leading them. 61 points after Wilson put up 63 to tie Michael Jordan to lead the Charlotte Hornets to a hard-fought 8-point victory in Game 2. We haven't had to worry about those kind of tensions here tonight. The Pacers went up 6-2 at the start, but it has been all Hornets ever since. Crowd rises to its feet as Wilson is one basket away from tying Jordan's record again. He's missed it. Wilson thought that he had it, but he couldn't get the up and under to fall. Now Benedict Mathurin, who gives it to Halliburton. Halliburton for three. No good. Rebound by Wilson. That's offensive rebound number 8 and rebound number 30 overall. Wilson against Halliburton. Double team comes. Wilson doesn't care. He flushes it despite the Pacers having 2 defenders right there. He's tied the record, and not only that, he can stand alone as the first player in NBA playoff history to put up 64. With Michael Jordan, his owner, up in the box, Wilson can defy the odds and shatter the record books. But he misses it. Wilson can't get the free throw to go. So unfortunately, he's going to have to settle for another 63-point performance. Wilson, or is he? Wilson's going to go right back at the well. Here we go. The drop step. Wilson, no good. It just wasn't meant to be for Wilson. But it doesn't matter. What's most important is the Charlotte Hornets have defeated the Indiana Pacers 97-71 here in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals.
MP, who posted a video before tonight's game where he said he was looking to be the game's leading scorer. How were you able to make that promise a reality?
Wow, I got no words, to be honest. Back-to-back 63-point performances, tying Michael Jordan. I mean, doing it once is just incredible, but to be able to do it twice, shout out to my teammates for putting me in that position. Can't do it without them.
I feel like I was in the zone during the shoot-around, so I told my teammates to keep feeding me the rock. We don't have big egos over here, so they were happy to do it. Next game, it might be someone else, but tonight, it was my time to shine, Dom.
Shine you did, MP. Great game.
Always.
BA, over to you.
So unfortunately, Despite having 2 opportunities to break Michael Jordan's record, Wilson came up short. So he once again had to settle for the tie. But, like I've said so many times, all that matters is we're winning games. And the Charlotte Hornets have opened up a commanding 3-0 series lead on the Indiana Pacers, and they will have an opportunity to accomplish their organization's first playoff series victory ever in Game 4, which will take place in Charlotte, North Carolina, Spectrum Center, in front of this rowdy fan base. Everybody did their part tonight. The fans, the players, the coaches, you name it. 97-71 is your final. And just so you guys need proof, here it is. Hall of Fame, 10-minute quarters. And before we say goodbye, we bid you adieu. Let's take a look at our next game, as well as the updated playoff ladder. As you can see, we were the 5th seed.
All right, MP, win this game, move on to the second round.
But we ain't playing like one right now.
Oh, yeah, that we got to finish the job. You let a team like this stick around, they start thinking they got a chance. And we can't let that happen. It ends tonight.
Any special prep when it comes to potential series clinching game?
Yeah, you got to treat it like any other game. That's why I'm at maximum intensity all year round. That's because there is no regular season or playoffs for me. Every time I go out there, I'm looking to do something historic. Tonight's no different.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to go back to Indianapolis for Game 5. I see we have a new viewer. Welcome in. Unfortunately, you missed today's gameplay, but just for you, I'll give you the box score. Let's take a look, shall we? 97-71 on Hall of Fame. If you don't believe me, here's proof. Hall of Fame, 10-minute quarters. Here's our box score. We kind of took our foot off the gas at the beginning of the 4th quarter because we had a 30-point lead and I wanted to get my teammates involved. But the Pacers got it down to 15, so I had to take the game back over. But check out these numbers. 28 for 38 from the floor. 63 points for the 2nd consecutive game. We have matched Michael Jordan. And we actually were 1 free throw away from breaking the record. Unfortunately, I missed it. And that was my only missed free throw of the entire night. And I think that broke a streak of like 17 straight made free throws dating back to last game. So, but I also had an opportunity on the final possession. I unfortunately couldn't finish a layup off a drop step either. Probably because I was tired. I did have a Gatorade logo next to me. But, you know, to be able to score Michael Jordan's mark back-to-back games as a rookie in the playoffs and be able to lead this team to a 3-0 series lead, because that's what we have right now, a 3-0 lead in the first round of the Indiana Pacers. As you can see, 2 hard-fought wins on the road, 88-78, 106-98. That game was tied with a minute and a half to go. We took that game over, and we needed to the most. And this game here, the Pacers came out strong, leading 6-2, but it was all Hornets ever since. Jackson Wilson, yours truly, with 40 of his 63 points in the first half. This Pacers team does not have a reliable center. And that's been killing them all series long. Look at my numbers against Obi Toppin and company. 57.7 points per game, 28.3 rebounds in 35 minutes of play. Wilson's been able to do whatever he wants. Now, with that being said, as we take a look at the playoff tree, this team right here, the Milwaukee Bucks, has what the Indiana Pacers could have had they not been so careless in the offseason. A paint presence, a defensive player in Miles Turner. The Milwaukee Bucks picked him up, and not only will I have to go up against him, but Giannis Antetokounmpo as well. So if we make it to the second round, which is more than likely going to happen with a 3-0 lead, We can't take it for granted. Like your boy said in his interview, it ends tonight. We don't want to go back to Indiana. You can't let them get back in it because then they'll think they have a chance. 3-0 comebacks have happened before. It's never happened in the NBA, and we don't want to be the first team to have that happen. But it has happened in baseball, and it has happened in hockey multiple times. So it's possible, not likely, but it is possible. The Pistons, unfortunately, couldn't seal off the Hawks in game number 4. But we'll have that opportunity next episode as we welcome our new viewers. You missed the gameplay, but don't worry. Everything will be saved. Everything will be posted, the full game, raw, unedited. We got a victory over the Indiana Pacers, 97-71 on Hall of Fame. If you don't believe me, here it is. And here is yours truly and his final stat line right here. I want to thank everybody once again for tuning into Ladder of Light Gaming. Bring out the brooms for the next episode. Make sure you come prepared because we have a chance to give the Charlotte Hornets their first ever playoff series victory. And I want every single one of you to be in attendance, just like I'm inviting every Hornets fan in Charlotte, North Carolina to tune in, whether it's by TV, at the watch party, or at the arena. Everybody's support means the world to me. And most importantly, the love that Jesus Christ has for me is most important. Without him, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't be promised eternal life in heaven. And you wouldn't either. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, call out to him while he still may be found. He is the way, the truth, and the life. You're a sinner otherwise that deserved hell. But the good news is, that was me as well. So you're not alone. I'm not saying this as someone who's better than you. Heaven was for everybody, including me, you, and everybody that you know. So pass the word, spread the gospel to your friends, your family, and your neighbors. Jesus Christ will soon be returning. He's coming back to either rapture his church or call to the ones who have passed away and are dead in Christ, but they won't be forever. Just like Jesus rose from the dead, his church will rise with him. Jesus is alive, he is working, and he is preparing a place for you. This is Axon Jackson Wilson spreading you this message on his behalf and bringing you another successful gameplay here on Ladder of Light Gaming. And don't forget to check out our continued series Dispatch, also hosted by yours truly, as well as our next group gameplay, which is coming up later tonight. That's more than likely going to happen, but if it doesn't, stay tuned. It's going to be around the corner. We'll either have Dispatch or our next gameplay to be announced. We don't want to spoil it for anybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. Jacob Vintage Bates will be a part of our next gameplay, as well as several special guests. That's all I'm going to say. Until then, this is Axon Jackson Wilson bidding you adieu. More NBA 2K26 streams coming the rest of this week. Every morning, be sure to tune in up until Saturday when I start my first, well, not my first job, but I start my next job. And that's all I got for you. Peace that passes beyond understanding and the unconditional love that only Jesus Christ can provide. May both of those be yours today in his almighty name.